called Icaros, and that the beings encountered in the DMT state literally sing objects into existence.
Yeah, no, that's right. I'm sure he's familiar with Terence McKenna. What about the work, David?
Well, I know when I had the experience of, many years ago in 1987 of traveling through, 7 dimensions of heaven, I heard the angels singing louder than any sound on the human earth. The sounds were causing vortexes which caused the galaxies to spin and the planets to spin, and these sound vibrations were the key. The language of the universe is literally the language of creation, and I fully believe that is happening. So the question is there a precise language that the universe responds to? And yes, the language is called... See, to get sound, you need a differential. For example, take your hands together and make a circle in the same direction, but as soon as one of the hands spins the opposite way, you get friction, and your hand produces a sound. That's how differentials work. Counter-rotational waves to each other produce vibrations of sound, and if they're in particular harmonies, which is language, you get a particular result.
Let's go to first-time caller in Oklahoma City. Don, you're on with David Sarita.
Hi, George. Hi, David. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
David, I wondered if you were familiar at all with Robert Temple's book, The Serious Mystery.
Absolutely. I've read the
he's
whole
been
thing.
he's been on the show too as well.
Right. If you could maybe elaborate a little bit, his theory in that book that we had been visited by beings from the Sirius star system, and he talked about his belief that our sun and I believe it was Sirius B star had a harmonic resonance that were like in tune with each other, and that allowed star travel instantaneously between the two systems, and it was part of an actual larger system.
No, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I'm a big fan of his book, and there's a lot of incredible math, and you're right. Our sun is so closely related in its energy dynamics to one of the Sirius stars, and I can't remember exactly which one it was, that he believed that the harmony was so deep that our two star systems were inexorably linked, and that instantaneous communication or travel between them was possible. And this is what a Stargate really is. And there's, for some reason, we are linked to that system. And if you look below Orion's belt, you'll see Sirius. And in Egypt, where the site where the pyramids were built, we see the connection between Orion and also Sirius with those civilizations. So there might have been Stargates to both of those systems.
It is a remarkable system, too, David, isn't it?
It's, Sirius, I've been incredibly fascinated by it. I've had a lot of direct experiences with it myself, so it's amazing what the caller brought up. Yeah, absolutely. I've read his whole book.
Back to L.A. again, Helena, wildcard line. Hi there.
Hi, George. We met again at the Conscious Life.
Conscious Life. You're the Helena.
Right.
You're the one. Okay,
right.
great.
And
good to talk with you again.
Yes, and I said, gee, why don't we, I haven't heard anything said about Sai Baba, and tonight your speaker did mention Sai Baba, and he also mentioned Marcel Vogel,
yes,
whom I had the opportunity to befriend in the early 80s. At that time, I was really considered myself a UFO contactee, and I used to visit him at his home and brought other contactees over, and I witnessed him working with crystals and doing healings on people. He was even training, this is Marcel Vogel, he was training doctors to do healings with crystals, and he did a surgical healing with a crystal on a friend of mine too. And I wanted to say that I've witnessed Sai Baba do many miracles. I've made 18 trips to India myself, and it's true that he does materializations of objects, and right there in front of you or at a distance. I showed George at the dinner a photo with some amrita, which is like nectar of the gods, that had materialized in my apartment. So anyway, I didn't think I would get on at all, but I just wanted to say that all that is true. And
okay, and we only got about a minute or so left here, David. First of all, give us your websites, Mr. Sarita.
Yeah, my website is voiceentertainment.net, where you can get my book, Differentials, The Hidden Harmonic.
Is that a new website?
Yeah, it's fairly new. I mean, it's where we had the voice in the film Water, and also, my new film, Quantum Communication, which we could do a whole show about, is coming out at the end of April. And and also our toll-free number is 1-877-476-9191. So tomorrow we take contacts that way too. So, and also the stone pendants. I'm going to send you one, George, that raises your actual body vibration.
I'll test it.
Yeah, you can test it. I'll show you how to test it, and I'll send you a little ebook that shows you.
What'll happen to me?
Well, one of the things we did at the conference at Laughlin is this guy had an aura camera.
And we got 30 seconds there.
And the aura changes dramatically when people wear the stone. Instantly it changes. So great to be with you, George. Thanks for having me on your show.
Always a pleasure, David. David Sarita. He, like David Wilcock, has an incredible mind, does he not? Absolutely incredible mind. Well, our next Coast to Coast show, don't forget, it will be our Friday night into Saturday morning, Friday the 13th, open lines. That's always kind of a special night for us, isn't it? For Dave Caprita, Dan Galante, Tom Danheiser, Lisa Lyon, Lex Lonehood, Sean LaDesseur, Ross Mitchell, George Nappy, and Pundit and Art Bell, I'm George Noory. Somewhere out there on Coast to Coast AM. We'll see you on our next edition. Until then, be safe, everyone.